Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I ask that you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today I'm going to be addressing the abandonment of baby, or should I say the discarding of a baby in a latrine in Jamaica recently. I actually came across this news in the Gleaner about a day or two ago, and obviously it disgusted me, and I just thought that, well, it's not the first time I've actually heard of anyone discarding their baby in trash cans or in dumpsters or now in toilet. I think this is the first time I've heard a baby being discarded in a toilet. Now, as a matter of fact, I remember an article years ago that I read on a young girl who had a baby in a nightclub. I mean, apparently her friends didn't know that she was pregnant. She called into labor and she just went to the female toilet, had the baby, left it there, kind of like fill her underwear with toilet paper, and went back clubbing with her friends. A few days later, she was admitted to the hospital because obviously she had the baby by herself and might have cut the cord with something that probably caused some infection. So what had happened in that case is they kind of like attached the two. The baby that was found versus this mother, done a DNA test, realized that the two was linked, and that female was arrested and charged. But after reading the news in Jamaican paper, like I say, it disgusts me, but other than that, I didn't think any more of it. I didn't think any more of it, and I didn't think it was fitting for me to discuss on my channel, because my channel is more political. It's about civil rights, law and order, and so on and so forth. But after actually seeing a video of some men retrieving the baby today, it struck an emotional chord in me, and it disturbed me way beyond the disgust that I felt after reading it. The power of visuality is amazing. It's crazy. Like I'm saying, hearing about it, reading about it, disgusted me. But because it wasn't any news to me, I just kind of like, okay, let's move on. But after actually seeing the men retrieving this baby from the toilet, I mean, it's hard to put in words how it actually made me feel. So before I get into my commentary, I'm going to let you guys quickly see the video that I saw.
Jesus, good. I'm feeling weird.
A little baby just born.
Just born. Young little baby, you're born. So much. Mercy. You have to go down the wood park. Don't see me find on there. So let me see. Where there? Oh, Jesus. Jesus.
I don't know if we can stop up one, but let's dream.
Watch it. Oh, Jesus. Man. Could I?
Jesus Christ.
Wait to Will. What put on in there? Well, I told you come. Oh, Jesus.
Wait to Will!
But see, all the blood. Oh, he does have it on the seat, that's what.
Dirty blood. And I tell him about him have it down there.
Yeah, turn him down, see Ramu. Turn him up, Keep him down, see Turn him down, see keep him down.
Yeah, man. Jesus.
Keep him down.
No.
Keep him down. Wash.
No.
God of praise.
You look all.
No, then. No ball.
Paul, you know wipe him off. It's sure when you get shit now, clean him up. Why? Why?
Jesus!
What the girl there? You want to clean up this one?
Jesus.
Other than being disgusted, my initial thought was, you know what, that woman, that female needs to be arrested and charged and sent to prison. My initial thought was whether or not Jamaica's sentencing guideline as anything that covers as any real sentencing that covers the discarding of a newborn or not. they need to amend that law and make some stiff penalty for mothers who act in this way. The first thing came to my mind, people, was she deserved no less than 18 years in prison. And I'm going to tell you why I zone in on 18. I zone in on 18 because naturally 18 years of the child's life is considered the child's dependency life. You know, in Jamaica, after the age of 18, you're considered an adult. And for some reason, I just believe that this mother deserved to spend all of that child's dependency life behind bars, thinking about what she actually done to her life. But at the same time, I'm a guy, you know, I can impregnate a female, but I don't know what it's like to have a baby grown inside of me. I don't know what that does to a person emotionally or mentally. So for that reason, I decided to involve my wife on the subject to hear her take from a female point of view, to add some leverage and some equality to my coverage of this particular subject. So we're talking about the baby situation in Jamaica and the pit toilet or the latrine, right? Because I read it in the Gleaner that the firemen had helped.
Right.
But from what we saw,
they didn't help.
They didn't help. That looked like local residents to me. Anyway, the obvious shame and disgrace is there. But it also reminded me of when we were in Jamaica a couple years ago in Mandeville.
Yeah, when you seen the notice
Right.
on the board that.
Right.
Well, what it was is the mother must have been very desperate, because there was a note on the board in the post office in Mandeville, and it was written on like a brown piece of paper, like a paper bag.
I think the look of the paper helps also. I mean, made it more depressing.
Exactly.
You know.
And what this note said, it was like she has a child. I think it was a boy.
Yeah.
And she can't look after the boy. It's like the boy was like maybe 16 months old or
probably younger.
Or
Can't
younger
remember.
than that. I can't quite remember
it was
now.
baby.
Yeah, it was baby.
You know.
And she was asking somebody to come and get the baby, look after the baby, give the baby a better home. She can't deal with it.
And we
called the number.
We called the number, so we almost ended up with a baby in Jamaica. You know, it was heartbreaking. You know, this story reminds me of that. Where that situation in Mandeville, when we called, someone else had called.
Had already picked the child.
Yeah, I think it was a pastor, they said. Somebody of a church had called and picked the baby up. But those things are,
it's just heart-wrenching, you know. It's just terrible. I mean, I heard about the situation yesterday, and he told me, and you know, just hearing about it kind of like really got to my head, you know. And this morning I actually seen the footage of, you know,
how they retrieved the baby
out, and that was just terrible.
Yeah,
you know,
it was a bad sight.
Yeah. Whatever the consequences, I don't know what was entailed, whether the mother was sick or, you know,
whether she's too young,
maybe something was wrong with the child. And
for that reason, I decided to incorporate you in this video because, you know, I was going to speak from a male point of view. And I know a lot of my viewers are females. And there's some things I don't understand about females. I mean, we have a child together. But the thing is, when a couple is pregnant, I don't think the man actually feels what the woman goes through emotionally, you know. So I didn't want to say too much on my channel where I don't understand the emotions of females when they're pregnant and what they go through. So I decided, you know, it's best to hear your input as to, does it add stress to the female? I understand that their hormones change and their mindsets are different.
Well, it does. I mean, in this case, we don't really know the situation. We don't know why, how old she is, if she's a young girl. So it could be a number of things, but you know, yeah, that's also possible. I mean, even in a normal relationship, when you have a child and the relationship is good, you're married, you have a good home and everything like that.
Security
you could
of the
still
spouse.
have situations where, you know, you could have like stress issues. The mother could be
under stress.
And plus, when the baby is born, the feelings can change from when the baby is in your stomach. And when the baby is there, there's a lot of things that the mother has to think about. You know, like, finally you're here, and how am I going to look after you? And it's a panic situation when the baby comes most times.
Exactly. So I'm not trying to justify it. I'm not trying to justify her action, but I like to look at things in a wide scope.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean?
We need to get all the details before
we
procrastinate.
Yeah, I personally believe that as a mother, whether she knows what she was doing or she didn't know what she was doing, she does deserve to face some consequences.
Definitely.
But at the same time, I did want my viewers to look at it from a psychological point of view.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because as humans, we're more delicate than we think we are.
Of course.
Like my wife and I was just saying, people, babies are having babies, you know, and from a man point of view, it would be unfair for me to sit here and say, well, badger her, badger her, badger her. I'm not trying to justify it, like I said, but at the same time, mental illness is real, people, and stress is real. Stress can bring people to madness. The anticipation of a newborn, I believe, can change the dynamics of our person think normally, especially if they're having life hard on their own and now they have to fend for a second mouth. I can understand the stress that can put on. So once again, I'm not justifying it. You know, the act was wicked, the act was evil, but at the same time, I would like my viewers and my subscribers to at least give that leverage of thought that the person could just be mentally unstable, or the person could actually be sane, but just the act of giving birth, the reality of giving birth, changes the whole mindset and put her in a panic mode. Because let's use me for an example. Like I said, I read it and it disgusted me, but it didn't struck the chord as hard as it did with me until I actually saw visual footage of the baby being retrieved from a toilet. So put that on the mom and say, well, the baby is inside of her. That's one concept. She knows she's pregnant. She knows she's having a baby. But when that baby finally comes and make that cry, the reality is a whole different ball game. So I'm also looking at that aspect. One of my main concerns anyway is what's going to happen to the child now. Is the Jamaican government going to partake? Is there a system set up in Jamaica for abandoned children? Is there a care facility for cases like this? Or does the Jamaican government still rely on the goodwill of relatives and friends, and this baby may end up staying with grandma or sister or auntie or what? Let me know, guys, if you know anything different. Next, I want to discredit the Gleaner, because the Gleaner is where I actually read the information initially. And what I read in the Gleaner was that this baby was retrieved with the assistance of the fire brigade. And from what the videos show, those guys are obviously not members of the fire brigade. Those are local residents, you know. So I just want to say to the Gleaner, you got to give credit where credit is due. You know, you got good Samaritans, you got good hearted people in the world, and when they do good, give them their credit. Don't pass it over to the Jamaican government, because by you giving the credit to the fire brigade, it's like you saying the Jamaican government is on their game, they're doing their thing, and the fire brigade was on point. Sadly, this baby was noted to be in the toilet on Wednesday, and the baby was not retrieved until Thursday. Poor thing, got to stay in there for almost 24 hours. It's sad and it's disturbing. And that's pretty much all I have to say today, people, because as I said, this is not one of my typical coverage, but because it struck a personal chord in me and it relates to Jamaica, it relates to my people, I have to put it out there and vent how I feel and hear how my subscribers feel about it, because this platform is set up here to be my voice, but at the same time, for those of you who might be camera shy, it is a platform for you to vent how you feel in commentaries, especially if it's on a topic that you had in mind and haven't provided a platform to actually talk about it. People, like I always say on my channel, if you want to big me up, just start hashtag It's Big Up and I will give you a mention in my next video, one of my future video. I don't say it as often as I should, so I'm gonna even repeat it. If you big me up, just put hashtag It's Big Up in your comment and I will big you up in the future.
Big up yourself to the maximum.
I want to big up Light, who's one of my most shout outed, I'm not sure if there's a word as shout outed. I want to big up Light, who have bigged me up the most on my channel. And last but not least, I want to big up Naz Drew for always participating in the channel. Big up yourself.
Big up yourself to the maximum. Big up yourself to the maximum.
And that's it, people. Like I always say on my channel, I accept thumbs up, I even accept thumbs down. I accept agreement and I even accept disagreement, because on this channel, each one teach one. Until next time, people. Peace.